Hey everyone, this is a video pertaining to the film series, documentary series, whatever you want to call it, called Missing 411. It's also pertaining to the following podcasts that are within the same subject matter. And I just wanted to offer my thoughts, which are thoughts that I've come up with, after having watched all the movies and having listened to the podcasts. I haven't listened to all the podcasts, obviously, but these are just some thoughts that I had that really were not portrayed. It's kind of explicating on a lot of what's already been said in all those movies. Um, I just thought these were really important thoughts, and that y'all should listen to me. And a lot of the people who are really kind of experts, like David Paulides, who made all those documentaries. He hasn't said a lot of the things that I'm about to say, and I think they're very significant, and that people who are interested in spending times in our national park should listen to if they don't want to get abducted. So, first of all, abducted isn't necessarily the exact word we want to say because we don't know for sure what the heck is going on there. But let me just start. And also, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, like, sorry, I'm not really going to explain everything. Like, you're going to have to actually go watch those movies and listen to those podcasts in order to fully understand all the context within this video. And again, this is not the normal type of video that I do. This is not the normal type of video that gets me views, but I don't care. All right. So I have a list of 29, 30 things that have not been said in these documentaries. I don't know if we're going to get to all of them in this video because it would take a long time. But listen, first thing that I think should be done is that Native Americans should really be talked to on a more serious level about their tribal legends about these areas that these people go missing in. Because I've learned a fair amount of the legends that Native Americans used to say, and like before I watched Missing 411, I was like, oh yeah, like that makes sense because you do want to scare kids into not going into the woods alone. You do want to scare kids into not swimming without an adult or an older person to supervise you, right? Because that's dangerous. But the fact of the matter is like, these very well could have been stories that Native Americans told in order to make sure that kids were being safe. But like, I think there's more to it than that. I really do. And I think that everyone should behave that way because, these were their religions. These were their really important cultural stories. Then they weren't there for no reason. Okay? So that's number one is talk to Native Americans and document what a lot of their legends are in a more serious manner and really listen to a lot of what they're saying. A lot of what their tribal legends are. So and the second one is people are dumped, like their bodies are dumped where they have already been searched for multiple times. So whoever is doing the dumping must know this and they're toying with us. We'll get back to that in another one. So the third one is highly educated, skilled, and experienced people are often abducted. Is this to harvest their knowledge? Are they being experimented on? And the fourth one is people with intellectual disabilities are often abducted. Are they being experimented on too? Are the abductors interested in curing these intellectual disabilities? Are they simply abducted because they're easy targets? Like, not all of these are just like thoughts. These are like questions that I think we ought to be asking and examining within the context of missing people in our national parks. Okay, so when people are recovered alive, they have no memory. They often have no memory of what happened. Have they been, like, they just say, like, yeah, I was out hiking and the next thing I knew, I was laying in the hospital bed. So that doesn't really make sense. Even if you do have some kind of traumatic brain injury, that doesn't fully pan out. Just if you know more about the circumstances of everything that's been said in these documentaries, like you'll understand more. Um, so have they been medically examined? What do their examinations determine? If they have a confirmed brain injury, how did it occur? If they have no medical proof of a brain injury, then this proves that the abductors had the ability to manipulate the human mind. 6 is several people listed in the films who were abducted and are never recovered have spent ample time in the locations where they disappeared, and at least 2 profiled in the films have witnessed strange activities in the location of disappearance, sometimes with others who can confirm these experiences. This appears to indicate that they were being surveyed for abduction. Cameras are humanity's most sacred tool. People who are intentionally going to these locations to take pictures are often abducted. Is the technology threatening to abductors? Are the cameras, pictures, videos a desirable commodity to the abductors? Or do they want to learn about the technology that humans currently have? Our feelings in the aftermath of tragedies are significant. Almost everyone who witnesses strange lights says they do not want to go back to the location, that their feelings for being in nature have drastically changed. That's because these lights are a warning. They are a message telling the witnesses they should not be there and that area is dangerous. People often say they felt their missing loved one was so close during the search, and weren't they? If they are later recovered nearby or in the same location, then they can't have gone far. There's talk in the movie, I think. There's definitely talk in the podcasts about portals. The possibility of there being portals, the possibility of there being like a different plane of existence within these natural areas. So that's what I'm referring to. Everyone who goes to these locations should really be asking permission from the land to be there. I think it's partially the reason they were taken. People act as if they are entitled to the land or to be there, and they are not. It seems we have 3 possible options at work here for the abductions or disappearances, which is Sasquatch, aliens, or portals, or maybe even a mixture of all 3. From the second film, I personally believe that Sasquatch seemed to be working with the aliens. Are the portals accidentally entered? Are they manipulated by the aliens? Okay, obviously the government should divulge missing persons records from national parks if they are in fact public record. But the fact that they're not doing this kind of tells you all you need to know. If they're outrightly refusing to give public record of people who are missing, that have gone missing in national parks like Snoop Sniff, that is suspicious in itself, okay? So we should give this, this is what I'm doing right now, and that's that we should offer not necessarily solutions, but we should offer precautions people can take in order to make it less likely for them to be abducted, or less likely for their kids to be abducted or go missing, okay? So I will offer some later on. And 14 is, can't we communicate with aliens? Can't we attempt it? I know that we have been attempting it, but I think that maybe we need to be attempting it on a grander scale, or you know what, maybe not even necessarily on a grander scale, but on a less grand scale, okay? Because, you know, people always want, okay, we're going to get into it right now. People always want there to be proof. They want there to be pictorial evidence. They want there to be tangible proof that these aliens or these other beings were contacted, right? But the thing is like, I really believe that aliens, or whoever the fuck this third party is that's making people go missing in the woods or whatever, I really think that they are kind of prodding at us. I think that they're trying to get us to react in the ways that they want to. The time before this most recent time that I was in Vegas, this happened like while I was there, I'm pretty sure. It was pretty apparent that an alien ship crash landed in someone's backyard. Okay. And I know that a lot of people are going to be laughing at me right now, and they're like, oh, ha, ha, she's so crazy. She believes in aliens. LOL, what a dumb bitch. And go ahead and believe that. But the fact of the matter is that this kind of thing has happened multiple times. It's happened multiple times within our country. Okay. And if you really look into these movies, these missing 411 movies, like, you know something is afoot. You know something is amiss. We're not touching on it. We have no idea what it is. We have no idea how to address it or pinpoint it or avoid it, right? But I'm saying, like, I really think that these aliens are trying to pinpoint us. They're trying to prod at us in a way that will make us better as a species. Okay? Because it really does, in fact, annoy me that so many people desperately want proof for something having happened. When the fact of the matter is that someone saying, hey, this happened to me, should be proof enough for you. The family that called the police, first of all, so what happened was, this time in Vegas, I think this was in June or July, this family had something crash fucking land in their backyard. They were like a normal ass family in a normal ass neighborhood. Okay. Something crashed in their yard, which is not near a street, and it could, so they knew for a fact it was, they saw that it was an aircraft, and there was actually a police officer arresting someone with a body cam nearby, and that body cam got footage of the crash, the spaceship or whatever you want to call it, crashing as it was happening. Okay, so and he saw it too, and he was like, oh, what the hell was that? So I'm saying, like, why the fuck would this random family, and okay, I didn't finish the story. Alien crash lands, the family sees an 8-foot plus tall being running out of their yard. Okay? For these people who desperately want proof, who desperately want photographic proof of this. Why would this family lie? Why would this family, who does not want money, they do not want fame, they do not want recognition, they probably weren't even comfortable with the fact that this kind of blew up on the internet, why would they lie? Why the fuck would they lie and be like, hey, police officer, there's something really wrong happening in my backyard, and I saw something that was 8 feet tall there? I think it's really, really in poor taste and fucking stupid, honestly, for people to be like, oh, they were lying. Oh, they were just making it up. I know a lot of those people are in denial, but it's like, why would they make it up? Why? Tell me. Sometimes this cup is a little unpredictable. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying is that humans need to believe other humans when all they have is their word. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I think that these aliens are trying to get us to do, right? And it's like, clearly they've been trying for a long time. Check. Not right now. He's trying to wrestle with the kitty. Obviously these aliens are surveying us, right? And they want us to react. They do. Because if they didn't, then they wouldn't continue doing this shit, right? There's a lot more that different people know, and I'm just not one of those people. But as an average civilian who has thought about this a lot and analyzed all the missing 411 movies and analyzed many of the missing 411 podcasts, these are a lot of the conclusions that I have come to. Okay, anyway. Okay, so I can't remember which one, but in one of the movies, a Native American chief said that he performed a ceremony at the mountain to give a child back, a child who had gone missing. And these should be performed in the event of any missing person in a national park, especially if it's meeting the criteria of someone who went missing the ways that Missing 411 has documented. Apparently there are like staircases in these forests, and park rangers have seen them multiple times. So apparently these random staircases that just go to nothing, they just are standing out there in the forest. You know, they're, I don't know that they're always visible, but they're definitely at least sometimes visible. Okay. And if you see that, you should run the fuck away, because it's something that's trying to tempt you. It's a possible image created by a technology we're not familiar with that's trying to mess with you. Okay. 17 is park rangers don't want to talk about this because it makes them so uncomfortable. Same with people who have experienced paranormal activity in the wilderness. We need to talk about it and make as many people as possible aware of these risks in order to reduce disappearances. When bodies are recovered, their discoveries seem random. The people who go to look, often years after the fact, are often not professional search and rescue, and the discovery seems just completely out of the blue. And people are inclined to look because they are given the feeling to do so, possibly by the missing in question. And that's another thing that I think we need to kind of come to a consensus come to a consensus about as a society, is that, yeah, we don't know exactly what happens to us after we die, but I think it's pretty obvious to most people who have lost a loved one that your passed on loved ones can sometimes convey information from wherever it is that they've gone. The abduction of Germans in particular is interesting. Is it because Germany is one of the most advanced societies in the world, or their education levels, or their tendency to be outdoorsmen? I think I had another one about that. Okay, but about that is like, I think I said that earlier, actually. So the fact that a lot of people who go missing are these really skilled, like, hunters, these really skilled, like, outdoorsmen, these really skilled hikers, these really skilled campers, right? I mean, that is, it kind of looks like there are about 3 categories of people who go missing, which is those type of people, those really skilled outdoors people, people with intellectual disabilities, and children. Like, for the most part, it seems like just your average park visitor who maybe isn't really skilled in the outdoors, they're not getting abducted. So I find that really interesting, and I think that that's something that people should really take into account. Oh yeah, I did already say that one, but that's like, is those skilled people's abductions, is that because they are interested in, like, do they want to keep those skilled people away from us, everyone else who's left on the earth? Question. Okay, 20 is bodies recovered miles away from the point of disappearance are often completely inconsistent with assumed times of death. They're also often found in bodies of water, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, because the people, when they're given the autopsy, the people who are found in water, it's often discovered in the autopsy that they did not, in fact, drown. So it seems like their bodies were just dumped in these bodies of water like moments before someone else found them, which is really significant. And let me just finish this. Okay, bodies recovered miles away from the point of disappearance are often completely inconsistent with assumed times. That's another thing, is that these people have been missing for like 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 11 days, right? But when their bodies are recovered, they look like they've been dead for like 20 minutes. They look like they've been dead for less than 24 hours. And it is a fact that, colder water does prevent more decay from happening, but like this is not consistent with people who actually drown or people who actually have died and just happen to end up in the water. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. Sorry, I haven't even finished this paragraph. Okay, this means they were likely alive until shortly before discovery. If they weren't, this means the abductors have extremely advanced preservation techniques. It also indicates that they keep the people until they no longer served them and then killed them and dumped them, knowing they were nowhere near the point of disappearance. Further evidence that they are toying with us. Okay, almost done, sort of. 21. Intentional ceremonies have great significance to us. If we were able to have more significant ceremonies attempted at recovering our loved ones, even the long dead ones, it's possible the abductors could listen. Okay, 22. People perceive natural areas as amusement parks, that they are fun and exciting places to visit and take pictures at, almost as if they're an entertainment experience. A lot of natural areas suffer from extreme foot traffic and entitled guests, which often results in various areas getting ruined. Perhaps abductors or whoever else present that we cannot name are upset about this fact. Water prevalence is significant. It seems to be paired with granite, potentially used for navigation or human locating. 24. All of the abductions described take place in very remote areas. Clearly, no abductions can take place in cities because there's too much activity and possibly less ability for whoever's abducting to navigate the area. Can these abductors only function in such remote areas, or are they specifically only interested in people who are in the remote areas? 25. The man abducted then returned had a vasectomy. This seemed to be the clear reason why he was returned. If that's the deciding factor, then we can only conclude that the abductors are interested in manipulating human reproduction in some way. 26. People who go missing with their ID in their cars and appear to have been going just for a brief outing seem to have been hypnotized or drawn out away from the path by a third party. And they talk about floating lights in one of these documentaries, so I think it's having to do with that. Because it's really strange that like why would someone who is just going out for a brisk walk, a brisk like quick hike that they've done many times before without their ID, maybe they have like one bottle of water, they're clearly just planning to be there for a couple hours at most. Why would that person like wander out into the wilderness and just get completely lost when it's on a trail, a well-marked trail that they've been on many times? Like, it's not adding up. Okay, 27. People are often lured to certain areas with their dogs. They bring a dog camping, and at some point, the dog gets lured off the trail or away from camp. Who or whatever is luring people into the woods knows what to do to get dogs upset or startled enough to run off. They know that the dog owners will run after the dogs. Having unleashed dogs is dangerous and should be completely prohibited in these areas where people have been known to go missing. I would argue that maybe we shouldn't even allow dogs at all. That people camping shouldn't even be able to bring their dogs, but I don't make the rules. Okay. Bright colors seem to be like wearing a target. People who have gone missing, especially children, are often wearing bright colors at the time of disappearance. Websites for popular natural destinations should discourage guests from wearing bright colors while in the parks. Native Americans have suggested that bright colors upset the forest spirits, but perhaps, like they said, they make people wearing them better targets for abduction. 29 is when kids go missing, it seems they always disappear the very moment they just happen to get out of their parents' or caregivers' sight. It happens so quickly that the parents often can't make sense of it. This suggests that the third party watching in these areas of wilderness is just waiting for the right opportunity. Perhaps it would be in everyone's best interest not to bring their extremely young children, say under 7, to these parks. But if they do, kids need to be in their parents' sight at all times and potentially physically connected to them, like with leashes or something. Like, I generally am not okay with kids being on leashes, but this is a pretty extreme situation. But also, like, I don't really know why you would want to bring your, like, 1.5-year-old on a hike at Yosemite. Like, I don't really think that's a good idea. That doesn't seem fun to me, but I guess people do it. Okay, so thanks for listening. I just really wanted to talk about that, and I know that my beliefs are a little extreme for some people, but if you actually watch those fucking documentaries, like, you'll know that something is up. And it honestly pisses me off and is really disrespectful to the people who have gone missing when people do not acknowledge that fact, when people do not acknowledge that something is amiss here that we're not able to comprehend at this moment. Because people do, in fact, get lost, and unfortunately they, don't make it back in time. They freeze to death or what have you, or they fall off a cliff, or they, get attacked by a wild animal. That those things do in fact happen, right? But when those things happen, there are clear signs. There is clear proof of this person having fallen. There's clear proof of this person having been attacked by an animal, and you also find a body in all of those cases. You find that person's remains almost immediately, and you're like, wow, unfortunately this was an accident. But when the person is just gone, like completely gone, sometimes when the people who go missing, when they talked about it in the documentaries, sometimes the people who go missing have been missing for less than 2 hours by the time there's a search and rescue team combing the area. Okay? Tell me how that makes sense. Because if they did in fact die, which is entirely possible, then you would find a fucking body. Or you would find proof to indicate that there had been an accident, right? But these people go missing and sometimes have a professional search and rescue looking for them less than 2 hours after they've gone missing, and they find nothing. Okay? Anyone with a properly functioning brain should understand that that does not make sense. One time they showed, in one of the documentaries, they showed how the method of how they search for people, okay? And that's, they have, like, imagine these are people and they're in the woods, right? They have people lined up. You've seen it in movies too, I'm sure. Lined up, searching, okay? These are all people searching the whole area, combing the whole area. So what they do is sometimes they do that. They go one direction like this. They go to the same exact area that they just covered. They go the other direction like that. So they're covering every possible inch, centimeter of land where this person went missing, and they find jack shit. Okay? It's obvious that this doesn't make sense. It's obvious that there's something else going on here that we're not able to completely explain. And like I said, it's disrespectful to just be like, oh, well. It's disrespectful and stupid, frankly, for people to just be like, oh, well, they went missing. Yeah, well, they fell off a cliff and they didn't find the body. Like, do you hear yourself? Because you sound fucking stupid. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. I hope you watch those documentaries, and make sure that if you ever go to a national park, don't wear bright clothing, don't bring your young child, and if you have to bring a dog, leash it. Goodbye.